Big news over at StarStock. We've got some new information, and I've got a little bit of a rant at the end, so definitely stay tuned till the end. Big thank you to today's video sponsor, Anylot.com. This amazing site has the ability to search millions of cards through thousands of different sites to find the cards that you're looking for. And to top it all off, it's free to use. So literally, you just put keywords in for the type of cards that you are looking for. The AI machine works its magic and sends you an email notification when it finds your cards. The site does the work for you. So check out Anylot.com. Hello to all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends. How is everybody doing? I hope that everybody is doing fantastically well. We are here for another video, and we've got some news about StarStock. I did have 4 or 5 different people reach out to me, DM me like, hey, you're always covering the news. Where's the news? Where's the video about StarStock? And so I wanted to actually kind of wait. I wanted to pause a little bit. I didn't want to make a video based off of that first email that came out on Friday, just kind of speculating on a bunch of stuff. I wanted to wait for a little bit more information to come out. And fortunately, one of my hobby friends, Dakota at Sports Cards Anonymous, was able to get Scott of StarStock to come on his show for an interview. It was a 19-minute interview, and I'm going to put the link to his video in my video description here so you can kind of go back and watch that as well. It's only 19 minutes long, and it's definitely worth the watch. And it's good because you hear it from the horse's mouth. Scott he's at StarStock. He can tell it how it is and let us know what's going on as opposed to, just kind of trying to figure it out. So the first part of the email that came out on Friday is that StarStock is suspending raw card submissions, which was kind of the bread and butter of their business model, the way that I knew it. Now, granted, I have used StarStock a couple of times, bought a couple cards, sold a couple cards, but nothing crazy. I was never heavy on StarStock. It was kind of mostly really booming during the day trading days of, flipping basketball. I remember hearing stories last basketball season of lesser known players, maybe a Prism rookie card or a Silver Prism. They pop off and they have 30 points, and then, all their cards go up on StarStock and they're flipping cards. And it's kind of a day trading site for rookie cards, and it was a lot of rookies that weren't necessarily getting playing time, but they'd have 15, 17 points, 20 points, and all of a sudden that 99-cent card is now a $30 card on StarStock, and so there's kind of a fun little arbitrage happening there. That kind of waned. That type of business waned over the last, really, 10, 11 months, and so that was a big part of what they were doing, and they were also doing where you were grading StarStock through StarStock. So you have kind of your raw cards there, and then you have the ability for them to, send off for grading. And of course, what happened there? Well, PSA's backlog hit, and everything slowed way, way down. And so you have people that are waiting on graded cards. Again, not StarStock's fault, but they were caught in the middle of that. So they kind of got into it. They hit it during the boom times, and then it got a little bit lean. And I will say, first off, big praise for Scott to even taking this interview. He didn't have to. He didn't necessarily need to, but he got out front and center, and you could tell it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable for him to do the interview, and kudos to Dakota for asking kind of some tough questions. I mean, it wasn't layups. He wasn't giving them, easy questions. Frankly, it was just right to the point. And it was a fairly quick interview, so it was good that he wasn't, there wasn't a lot of small talk. I mean, it was just kind of right to the point. Kind of getting some of the explaining done. So great job by Dakota. And I want to say again, it's tough for Scott, to be in the position that he's in to kind of go on and do that interview. My take on this, just kind of watching this, interview, was that they still are trying to figure out how they're going to move forward. Is kind of how I took this. So they want to move into NFTs. They're trying to figure out how to set up kind of a profit center for the raw cards, but they're really going to stick more with graded. It sounds to me like they're still trying to formulate a plan and figuring it out. So I don't know what's going to happen. Of course, we're all going to speculate on what does that mean for this company short term, long term. It's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back, because they'll need to bounce back. There was a lot of kind of chatter that people are going to pull all their money and their cards off of the platform. Scott said that since the announcement, they had 300 plus requests, which he said was fairly normal. I don't know if that's true or not, but that'll be kind of interesting to see, is kind of, does everyone just kind of evacuate that platform like MySpace style, or is there an ability to pivot and rebound? NFTs, is one thing that he had mentioned. And look, I mean, a lot of folks are getting into NFTs. There are a lot of platforms for that already. but how they end up doing that could be interesting. I don't want to pile on, man. The chat was really on fire for this interview. I mean, there was folks that were either upset or just people kind of piling in to throw out all the negatives that they wanted to. So that was already done. That was already out there. While I can understand frustrations, I don't think I need to be a part of that. That goes without saying. There's going to be people that are frustrated, with StarStock, that are waiting to get cards back, that are waiting to get money out of their account, and fine, that's perfectly valid. One question that Dakota asked him that I hadn't really thought about, but it actually made sense. It's a very valid question, and he was asking if the PSA orders, the cards that they were still waiting for to get back from PSA, if those orders had been paid for already, which, in a way, like, we kind of already know the answer because we know that PSA does not take payment up front. So I guess the assumption is that they have not paid for those orders. And so, on the back of the Mars Cards announcement, that's an understandable question. And for a company that might be struggling, it is a valid question, because what if, they end up not paying? And then what if, that's kind of held in limbo? So I certainly understand, why Dakota asked that question. And Scott did answer, hey, look, it's not that he said, we've seen reports we're going bankrupt. We are not going bankrupt. We have the funds to pay for the PSA orders. That's what he said in the interview. And so I'm just kind of repeating that here. Lastly, we'll get to the fact that they laid off 33 employees last week, which if it's, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 people in the company, then 33 isn't that many. But he had said, Scott, in this interview, that they have 60 plus employees. So that's about half of the workforce. And it was a lot of people on the grading team, the submission teams, a lot of the people that work in that raw card segment of the business. I mean, that's almost half of their workforce, essentially. So it is pretty serious. I mean, that's a serious layoff. The one part that really kind of got to me, and it's just overall, I feel like this, is they got into the subject of non-competes. Scott said that they are going to waive any sort of non-compete type stuff that could arise from the 33 that have been laid off. And my answer to that is, well, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, as Dakota said, the card world is small. If somebody wants to continue to work in sports cards, it seems kind of insane that they would be held to a non-compete for a whole year, or if it's longer. Sometimes non-competes can be 2 years, 3 years, whatever they end up being. And they were laid off. They didn't choose to leave. It's one thing, and employers do this in many different industries, but that language in the contract of whether, you're dismissed, whether you're laid off or you decide to leave on your own accord and you're still held to the agreement, I think is absolute insanity. I hope that non-competes in general go away. I mean, I can understand, look, if you're going directly to a competitor and you're taking all of the business with you over to competitor, then fine. Then maybe that makes sense to have some sort of a non-compete to be enforced. But the majority of the time, these are just random people that are looking to work within an industry. So I understand this is protection for employers, but they cross the line. A lot of these are just too far reaching. And a lot of times, they're not really enforced or not really called upon or whatever, but even still, I just don't like it. So the fact that he said that they're not going to enforce the non-compete didn't really mean much to me, because it shouldn't be. They were laid off. They didn't ask to be, they didn't leave on their own accord and try to go to a competitor or whatever. So we'll have to see what happens with StarStock moving forward. It's an interesting story. They were an up-and-coming company during the boom of the sports card hobby over the last couple of years. And, I know a lot of people want to see the world burn. I've noticed that in the chat and in the comments section. A lot of people just want to see this, these companies fail. But hopefully for their business and for their customers and for people that enjoy using that platform, they're able to turn it around and make something happen. But we will have to see. So, all right, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you working with StarStock now? Are you a customer? Are you planning to be a customer? Planning to not be a customer? Whatever. Let me know. We'll chat about it. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.